Hi, welcome. Marilyn here. Welcome to Saturday Sampler. We're in August. I know you can't believe it, neither can I. I know we're having tons of fun working on our project. We are now in the pinwheel star block. It's on page 10 of your pattern. And so we're going to jump right in. I'm going to talk to you about the fabric and a little bit of piecing. So first we're going to go through the fabric. You have all your fabrics lined up. The first one is fabric 5, and that's our little rust color. And usually I just have them lined up and cut, but I have this one cut and pieced, and I'll tell you in a minute why. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut one 4.5-inch strip, and at the fold you're going to cut it. So that means that you're going to have two 4.5-inch by 22 strips, 2-inch strips. Okay, leave them be. And you're going to cut off the ends, cut the selvage off each end. All right. Now you're going to have fabric 7, which is our nice little print right here. And you need to cut 4 5.5-inch squares. And I've done that. Here they are prior. But when you jump down later in your pattern to make your 3-color flying geese, you need to cut those in half twice diagonally. Okay, so I need to cut them one more time, and I just did it, and I cut them once. I meant to cut them twice, but all right, I have to get on that, and so will you. One more time across, okay? So there they are, and then you also need to cut 16 2.5-inch squares, okay? And there those are. Fabric 10. Fabric 10 is your green, and you also have to cut two 2.5-inch strips with the fabric, and you're going to cut them in half again on the fold, 22 inches. And I've actually already sewn those into my strip set, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. Okay, so you're going to have 4 2.5-inch by 22-inch strips, and I do cut the selvage off the end of those. Fabric 12, which is our blue. Okay, you're going to have one 2.5-inch strip with the fabric cut at the fold. Okay, those are already sewn in. And then you're going to have 8 3.25-inch squares and 8 3.1/8-inch squares, and you're going to mark those. Okay, now on your 3.1/8-inch squares, you're going to cut those in half so that you have triangles. So I've marked them and cut them in half. Okay, you're going to use those later. And the 3.25-inch squares you're going to keep in the square, and I have each of those marked. And then on fabric 15, last but not least, your 3.1/8-inch squares, you need 8 of those, and I cut those in half. And your 3.25-inch squares you don't cut in half, and I've marked those. Okay, mark them so you don't get confused. So before we end this video, I just want to talk to you about the first set of directions so we have that already done. You're going to make a strip set, and those go right around your pinwheel star. You're going to make 2 strip sets. So you're going to take that middle big strip, that 4.5-inch strip of that fabric 5, and you're going to take all your green strips, and you're going to sew them onto each side. This is the first set, and this is the second set, okay? You're going to sew them along, and you're going to press towards the center, towards fabric 5. There's my 2 green sets. Okay, press towards there. Now on your second set, you're going to take your blue strips and also add them on. So see both of mine? Here you go.
Which way do you press the blue?
Okay, you're going to press always towards the center or towards fabric 5. So the blues are going to go towards the green, the greens are going to go towards the rust. And then I take my flatter, spray it on, and press it flat so they're nice and flat. And when you're reading the directions here, it says keep one end even. Well, you know, it's pretty tough to keep them even. I couldn't. Maybe you're better than I am, okay? But if you couldn't keep them even like I couldn't, I took one end and just straightened it out before I started my 2.5-inch section cuts. And the thing I want to point out to you is don't straighten it by measuring just off this end. Sometimes they get wobbly. measure it. This one's a little bit bigger, long for this particular ruler I have here to show you. But measure it off of your center seams, okay? So I'm going to put my ruler down here, and I'm going to measure it with my lines on these seams rather than on my outside edges. I get a straighter cut. And I'll just go out to the edge and I'll clean up that edge, okay? Let me get my cutter. I'm going to clean off that edge. Okay, move that aside, and then I can turn it as a right-hander, and then I'm going to take a 2.5 inch cut. I can lay this on the edge, and then I will still watch when I'm cutting where that line is on that seam line rather than the bottom edge. And you're going to be cutting 8 2.5 inch sections. So there's one of them, and I have 2.5 inches here. Okay, and there's one of my sections. And part of that section will be going around the outside star. You're going to be doing the same thing for here. I just need a little bit longer ruler. Clean up that edge, and then you'll be cutting a 2.5 inch subsection. So I've already cut some of those, and those are another part that will be going around the outside of your star. So I just wanted to point that out when you're making those. I'll have a second video if you want to join me for making your 3 color flying geese and for making your pinwheel. Thank you.